Hello friends, my name is Lauren and I am the maker behind Vintage Knitting Party. I am here with you today to chat about all my knitting plans for next year, 2023. There are a lot of birds outside today. I don't know whether you're going to find their sounds cute and amusing or whether it's going to be incredibly annoying. I won't know that until I'm editing the video, so I apologize for that. I don't generally sit down and think about everything that I want to knit in the next year, but I am on a bit of a mission to decrease the stash that I have. If you've been following along with my other videos in the Make Do and Mend series, you'll see that I've accumulated quite a bit of stuff and I'm really looking to make things to be able to get all of that out of my life, start with a little bit of a clean slate. So I have been deliberately seeking out things to knit that will fill a gap in my wardrobe, but will also use up the yarn that I have. I have a coffee, I have some of that yarn here, I have my phone where I have a list of ideas. Today we're going to start off with the most practical and the most realistic, and then we're going to take a slight diversion into sockland, and then we're just going to go crazy and we're going to think about all the things which are completely unrealistic for me to knit in a whole year. Now the first piece that I'm thinking about knitting in the new year, or whenever I've finished my rainbow jumper and all of my gift knitting, I'm basically going to be casting it on as soon as I can, is the Lakonga sweater, which I spoke about at the end of my last knitting podcast. I am going to be using this yarn. I got a sweaters quantity of this at The Nest, which is a community run organization that I often go to looking for secondhand craft supplies. They have an entire haberdashery op shop, which is just divine. It's amazing. This yarn is called Bellissimo knitting yarn. It says that it's made in Italy, but I can't really decide whether it's like budget cheap yarn or whether it's like a really nice kind of obscure vintage yarn. Who knows? It's 48% wool, 43% polyamide, 9% acrylic, and I think it's a little bit heavier than a fingering weight. And I want to knit the Lakonga sweater with this because I just think it'll be such a practical piece to have in my wardrobe. I'm always looking to fill gaps that I have in my wardrobe. Instead of just casting on things which look pretty, I want to make sure that I'm actually going to be using it, because there is nothing sadder to me than spending hours and hours and hours on something and then not really being able to use it. So I picked this sweater pattern because I don't have a lot of long sleeve sweaters which I can wear over dresses and skirts and pants, which actually are just really practical for me to wear. I think that this color would be, I think it would look really nice. I think it would go with lots of things in my wardrobe. And the style of the sweater is like, it's quite fitted throughout the bust, and then throughout the rest of the bodice, it has a little bit more positive ease, which is not a typical characteristic for 1940s knitting patterns. So I think it'll be really nice. I live in Brisbane. It's incredibly hot, so I can really go through an entire day wearing a long sleeve sweater without having to take it off. I have to do lots of light layers, and I think that this will do the job come winter 2023. The second sweater that I am looking at knitting is the Whitmore sweater. The Whitmore sweater is a pattern by Amy Loudon. Her Instagram handle is Tayloress Studio. It is a beautiful sweater. It's got a lovely lacy yoke. I have approximately 1,000 sweaters saved on my Pinterest board from Suzanne, which look exactly like this. It's got that lovely like cathedral pattern almost. It's like the steeples on like Gothic architecture that kind of come down out of the neck, and then the rest is plain knitting. This is a modern pattern, and I was trying to think about this. It's actually been a really long time since I knit a modern sweater pattern, so I'm kind of a little bit excited. And I love this sweater, I love the pattern, and I was like, oh, it's just really baggy though. Like, I just don't know if it's going to fit like the silhouette that I'm going for. And then I saw this version by Christina. Her Instagram handle is @gussets&godets, and I think that's also her handle on Ravelry. She modified the pattern and knit, I believe in her notes, there are like, you knit the sweater in the bodice down like a kind of a box, and then you decrease rapidly, so you've got this lovely like balloony kind of shape. She did the same amount of decreases, but she decreased gradually instead, so she had a lovely cinching in at the waist. And she also knit a size that was closer to her actual bust size to give her a little bit less positive ease. And it is just I think this would be beautiful knitted up in like festive colors. For some reason, it gives me very Christmassy vibes. It could be the fact that it's literally like Christmas time. But I just think it's so beautiful. Her version is really nice and fuzzy, and mine will be as well. I have a whole sweater's quantity of this Clequeton Caprice 8-ply. I'm pretty sure this is from the 80s, but honestly, I haven't done that much research into it, so you can feel free to correct me. I got this at the op shop, and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what possessed me to pick up this color. I have a complicated relationship with purple. I love looking at it. I think it looks flattering on me. Anytime I wear purple, people comment, and now that I'm looking at like the camera viewfinder thing, I think this is going to look great on me. But it's just not a color that, like, I would never say that purple is one of my favorite colors. I don't know, maybe I should like it more, but I think I just saw this entire sweater's quantity for literally like $3 or something. It was so cheap, I couldn't not pick it up. It just feels really nice and soft, so that's lovely. It's 30% mohair, 24% wool, 23% nylon, and 23% acrylic. So there's a real blend going on here. And I'm fairly certain I'm going to have enough. I think this sweater is knit in the round, and I'm really looking forward to having a break from seaming, to be honest. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this project, especially after Lakonga, which is just going to be stockinette. I think I'm going to need something kind of interesting and something really nice and quick in an 8-ply to knit up. For the next sweater, we are back to vintage patterns. I have one from the 1940s, which I would love to knit. It's from a Woolworths economy book. And Woolworths economy don't actually give names to their patterns, but I'll put a little picture of the sweater up here, and I'll leave a link in the bio so that you can find it. It's a beautiful short sleeve sweater. The sleeves and the yoke are like a textured moss rib, but then there is a V coming upwards with ribbing all down the bodice, if that makes sense. It's got a really sweet little Peter Pan collar. It's so beautiful. I am such a sucker for lace patterns, but the reason that I'm not going for a lace pattern next is because I have this very special yarn which I want to use. This is a Facebook Marketplace find. I think I got 25 50-gram balls for like $13 or something. I just couldn't miss it because the color is so perfect. The color is so me. I love it so much. It's Patons Crystal, and you can see that the yarn has a really beautiful like fleck in it. It's 85% acrylic and 15% Irish linen. And I think the Irish linen is what gives it that little lighter colored speckle. The yarn, you may have been able to see from the close-up, but the yarn is also kind of reminds me of like an I-cord kind of tube of yarn, rather than it being plied together. Apparently it's machine washable. It looks like it's going to be really durable. And because it has these little bits of flex in the yarn, I really wanted something with a mostly plain pattern to really, I don't know, to make the most of it. I just didn't think that this would look as great in a lacy kind of texture. But yeah, I'm really excited to knit up that pattern. Okay, and then the last practical item that I am hoping to knit next year, we'll be using this cone of yarn. I showed this in my last knitting podcast episode, but let me try and give you a close-up. It's very fuzzy because it's been in my wardrobe. So you can see that texture. It's a little bit heavier than a fingering weight. It's really heavy. There's a lot of yarn here. And I picked this up at Reverse Garbage, which is an organization that takes items out of landfill and puts them into a retail store. The entire cone cost me $1. So I need to use it. It's the perfect color. It's so freaking cute. I spoke about it in my knitting podcast episode, and I asked which option you guys thought would be a good idea. And I think after posting that, and I think after talking to a few people, I'm going to be making the Campus Casual pinafore. This is a pattern from the 1940s. The pinafore has a really cute little skirt and then two different options for the bodice. There are straps which cross over in the front, or there is a jacket piece which comes up under the underarms and across the shoulders in a deep V. And I just think this color with like a brown turtleneck, a cream shirt, a patterned shirt would be really cute with a sweater over the top. I'm pretty sure you can take off the straps after you've put them on, so I could wear it as just a skirt. yeah, I just am really, really excited about this. This is why we are starting to talk about unrealistic knitting plans after this, because I could knit this entire project for like alone for a year. Honestly, like I'm such a slow knitter in comparison to some of the other people who I see on Instagram. And I'm probably not actually a slow knitter at all. I'm probably just a normal knitter, and social media has caused us to feel as though we need to be putting out lots of projects all the time, which is dumb. But yeah, I could just focus on this project alone for 2023 and it would be plenty. And yet we are going to keep going. I do want to take a slight deviation to talk about socks for a second. I have become quite a sock knitter. I have just started to love it. There are 8 patterns, I believe, that I want to talk about. But these are not really going to be like a main project for me. They're more going to be things that I can bring to work and work on in my lunch break. The first sock that I want to talk about are the Magic Toadstool socks by Charlotte from Stone Knits on Instagram. I actually started making these and I showed them, I think, in my last knitting podcast, and I think I'm just going to rip them out and start again. It was my first attempt at color work and that's so fine. I'm so okay with the fact that they just weren't, like, my tension just wasn't great, but I really, really like them and I really want to be able to wear them out and be proud of them, so I think I'm just going to start again. But I love these socks. I've already got the yarn for them. I'm so ready for them to be my little, like, knitting on them on the train kind of project. They're going to be so small and so easy to take around. And then the other 3 colorwork socks which I want to talk about are all by Charlotte from Stone Knits. Obviously I'm a huge fan. I have a 5th pattern which I have already knit. It's getting out of control, honestly, the obsession. The second pair that I want to share with you are the radish socks. These are so freaking cute. Oh my gosh, I have the yarn for them already. They're so sweet. I can't. I've seen a couple of versions where people have made, instead of like the red part of the radish with the little white leg, they have knit the whole thing orange and made them like little carrot socks, which are just so cute. Oh, I love them. There's a really cute little chirpy bird outside. He won't shut up. I am so sorry, but apparently I live in a fairy tale and birds sing, and we're gonna romanticize it. We're gonna lean into it, okay? The third pair of socks, the colorwork socks, which I want to share with you, are the Lush Lemonade socks by Stone Knits. I want to knit these instead of the sample where she made the alternating stripes blue and white. I want to make mine beige and white to make them a bit more subtle, and they have a really beautiful like mustardy yellow instead of a bright lemon yellow to use, and more of a sage green for the leaves. So it's going to be a little bit more muted and a little bit more like my vibe, but I just think they're beautiful. I think they're so cute. And then the last colorwork socks which I would love to knit next year are the Cosmic Flow socks, again from Stone Knits. I just love her. I just love everything she makes. They're so cute. These ones I love. I love the samples knit with a gradient yarn. I would love to knit these in an ombre, going from light to dark in one color and not like lots of speckles, because I think that would look really beautiful. But I also just really love the samples that are knit with 2 colors, and like one's just a light and one's a darker and they're both neutral. Like I just think they're so cute. They look kind of fancy. They kind of look like old man socks and I love that. And then the 4th pair of colorwork socks which I'd really like to knit. Now it's time to move on to the plain coloured socks. Obviously you can knit these in variegated yarn, but they don't have specific colour work on them, so I thought they might be a little bit more relaxing to knit. They are also all free on Ravelry, which is amazing. We love a free sock. The first pair that I want to share with you are the Cozy Autumn socks by THIS HANDMADE LIFE. I love the versions of these which have contrasting heel, cuffs and toes. I have already knit 1 pair of these, but I knit them in a really variegated yarn and even though I love them, I just want to see what they would look like in a plain colour. The second pair are the biscuit socks by Fluffy Fibers on Ravelry. Her Instagram handle is isabel.handmade.stories, and these are so cute. They just are a really plain looking sock, but they have little bits of texture all over the leg and the foot. They look like little pearl bumps, and I think this would be extremely easy to do if you're a beginner sock knitter. I don't know how I feel about the heel and the toe in the sample. I may end up doing my own heel and toe that I normally do as slip stitch heel, but otherwise I just think the socks are so cute. The third pair that I want to share are the Thrift Bloom socks by LISA SCHUETTE on Ravelry. I'll share all of the details here. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Her Instagram handle is Lisa_Locken. And these are just so beautiful. They are breathtakingly beautiful. I just think the pattern on these are so pretty. They look like such a fancy sock pattern. And I'm just so excited to knit them. I really love the color that the sample is knit in, that beautiful fawn brown. I can't believe they're free. They're so pretty. I'm so excited. And then the fourth pair that I want to share with you are the nutmeg socks by Tania Barley. Her Instagram handle is the Wool Barrow, but I will link everything down in the description. And the nutmeg socks are stunning as well. They look so pretty. Like, they're so delicate and so nice looking. Again, there's a texture all over the leg and the foot, with a normal looking slip stitch heel and a toe. The difference I think with these that I really love is that the cuff ribbing is knit with like a really cute little pattern in it. It's just adorable. Like, I've never seen anybody make ribbing that fancy before, and they just look so sweet. I love them. I love that they're called the nutmeg sock as well, so I might make them a little bit festive and knit them towards the end of the year if I get time. Now we are well and truly heading into unrealistic and like daydream territory, basically. I don't think there is any way that I am going to end up getting to this part of the list, especially after all of the big projects and the little ones which I've just listed, but we're just going to go there anyway because there are so many things that I want to knit in the world and there's so little time. The first one that I'd like to share with you is an original 1940s knitting pattern. This is a colorwork sweater. The sample is knit in like a light colored cream or white base, and that's the color that I would choose as well. Not gonna lie, when I first saw this pattern, I thought that the colorwork was tacos. I was very hungry, it was dark, I didn't know what I was doing. But they are baskets of flowers, which are so cute. The colors in the pattern call for mustard, brown, red, pink, green, and blue. And I think I could probably use those colors, but more like muted kind of earthy tones that would really sit well with my wardrobe. But this is so up my alley. Like, I just want to prance around in a cottage with a basket full of flowers, and I want to wear my basket flower sweater. It looks so beautiful. I'm feeling a little bit more confident with my color work, so I think this is a project that I could take on. And I would just love to be able to get around to this. I also think that I would have quite a few little scraps from my sock projects to be able to use for the basket, so I wouldn't really need to buy more yarn, which is really nice. The other reason that we are starting to talk about less realistic patterns is because for everything else that I have listed before this project, I already have the yarn for it, I already have the needles, the materials, but I do not have a sweater quantity of fingering weight white or cream yarn. Like, what I've listed is what I've got left. And I'm trying to just not buy more things until I have a project in mind, because otherwise I end up with all of this stuff and I really am yearning to cast on new things. Like, I find patterns that I didn't even know existed yet, and then I get so excited about them that I want to cast them on, but I feel like I have to use up everything else that I've got. So I don't have the yarn for that yet. I do think it is helpful to think about what I really want to be wearing, and what I really want to be knitting on, because then in my travels, if I come across the right amount of yarn, I can just pick it up, which is nice. This next one is definitely something that I do not have the materials for. It's a knitted dress. I have seen 2 different people knit this dress up, and I died with envy both times. I want this dress in my wardrobe so much. I want to knit this dress. I want to take on this massive project. I'm so excited. I know exactly what I want to use for this. I love it. The dress is called Young at Heart. It's a pattern by Sunglow. It's an original pattern from the 1940s, and there are so many beautiful things about this dress. Okay, let's start from the top. We've got a Peter Pan collar, adorable. We've got alternating panels of lace and stockinette, which just looks incredible. It gives the dress such a nice shape. It looks so pretty, so interesting. We've got gorgeous puffy sleeves. We've got ribbing around the sleeves. We've got ribbing around the waist to cinch her in. And then there's this beautiful full skirt. So amazing. I just think this would be so pretty. I've thought long and hard about what color I would knit this in because I would want it to be wearable. And after I'm putting so much time into this, I want it to be flattering. I want it to be something I can wear to work. I want to get so much wear out of it. I want to wear it till it falls apart. And I think I want to knit this in dark brown. I know brown is probably not the most exciting color, but it's just a color I wear so much. I think like a dark chocolatey brown would just be so pretty. I could wear it with everything. It would look perfect with all of the accessories that I wear in wintertime. I just need to do it, and I need to get like a nice quality yarn so I can look after it and it can last a really long time as well, but I just know that's going to cost me a fortune and I'm not ready to invest that money or time right now. I have a few other things to get through and that is okay, but she's definitely on the list. This will be happening in my future. When I saw this next pattern, I had the same feeling that one day I will be knitting you. You will belong to me. It is the Frivolity sweater. It is published by Patons Baldwins. It is a original 1940s knitting pattern. I'll put the link in my bio. And when I saw this, I know that the model is wearing kind of a darker color, but I just thought this would look so beautiful in like a bottle green, like a dark foresty kind of green. I think it would be really, really nice. The other color that I think this would look incredible in is like a slate gray, like a gray blue kind of petrol kind of blue. Is that the type of blue that I'm talking about? I'll try and put some samples on the screen. The only thing with that is that I don't know how good I look in blue, and I don't think I look great in anything with like a grayish undertone. I think it makes me look really sick. Any photos that I have of myself wearing gray clothing, I literally look like I've been unwell. It's not a very flattering look, so this is a project that I would definitely have to buy the yarn for in person and hold it up against me and make sure it looks good. I do think dark green would suit my skin tone. Like the dark green of this plant, like that kind of color. Wouldn't that look so cute in a little sweater? I would wear that all the time. Oh my gosh, it would look great with the skirt that I just mended from the 70s. Oh, okay. All right, we might be leaning towards dark green for this one, but I just think she's so pretty. There are so many colors that I think about, like a short sleeve 1940s sweater shape. It just fits so well into my wardrobe. I wear them all the time in winter. Like even modern sweaters in that particular shape, like mock necks, I wear them all the time. So I've sort of been thinking about what colors I feel like I'm missing, and I may go for more plain knits in the future, or, you know, sweaters like that one with like a little bit of texture and a little bit of lace, but basing my choices more around what colors I feel like I need in my wardrobe rather than just knitting a pattern because I think it looks pretty. I'm trying to be a little bit more, I don't know, sustainable, a little bit more responsible with the choices that I make, just so that I can enjoy them as much as I possibly can. And then the last little jumper that I'm going to talk about today, because otherwise I could just talk about everything forever, is a little 1930s jumper. It's just so cute. She's so special, so pretty. The name of this jumper is Highlight. It's one of the most recent booklets that I've uploaded to the Vintage Knitting Party website, and this little number, she's just got a very special place in my heart. It's got a beautiful ruffle collar. The sleeves are a little bit of a different shape to the 40s sweaters that I've been talking about. They're just typical 30s, adorable little puffy sleeves. The model is wearing this in a lighter color, and I just think that would look so cute. I think a white or cream would just be perfect for this sweater, and I could wear it with everything. It would be so practical. I just need I need more time. I don't have enough time, especially with all these vintage patterns. They're knit on such little needles. They just take such a long time. Like whenever I see people do those reels on Instagram where they're like, all the things I made this month, and it's like 12 bulky sweaters. Like, A, how are you wearing that many sweaters? B, like, it just makes me want to cry inside because they take so much less time. Like now that I'm knitting the rainbow jumper, but I'm knitting it in a DK weight, the main body is knit on 4mm needles. And I'm knitting it, and I'm like, it took me 2 days to finish the back of this, but it took me 12 entire weeks to knit one sweater in fingering weight on like 3mm needles. It's just, anyway, it's wild. It makes me cry inside. But at the same time, I know that lighter weight sweaters are much more practical for the climate that I live in because it's so freaking hot here. So I think that eventually I'll get to the end of this list. The thing is though, that once I get to anywhere near the end of the list, I'll have already piled up another 20 projects that I want to knit. And that's okay. That is fine. I think that's everything I wanted to share with you guys today. Please tell me if you make like a bit of a structured list around what your plans are for your knitting, or whether you just like to go with the flow. Are you a monogamous knitter? Do you like having 7 different cast-ons at once? Personally, that stresses me out. I'm so monogamous. It's stressful for me having a gift sock knit as well as a jumper on at the same time. Like even those 2 completely different projects, I'm like, which one do I focus on? It stresses me out. So I guess it's a good thing because it means that when I start something, I actually get to enjoy it sooner because I'm dedicating all of my energy to that one project. But I would love to know a little bit more about your planning process. I applaud you if you got to the end of this very long, very rambly video. I didn't realize I felt so chatty today, but apparently I feel very passionately about planning my projects for next year. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.